Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today. I know this is the week of Starfield, but we have some Fallout news to get into, and y'all know me, I'm a freak. There's no way I'm absolutely gonna skip out on this one, especially when my optimism for the Fallout TV show is growing. We not only have brand new leaks to go over today where we can start to lean into more narrative details, but the reason we can really do that is because we have official confirmation of the location and the vault number for the Fallout TV show, meaning that some of the leaks are lining up, which was to be expected just given how many there have been. And it's kind of been for the health of the product because a lot of people were low on faith going in, like a Fallout TV show. But as we've seen the sets, as we've seen the costume designs, it doesn't look too bad thus far. And so I wanted to share the latest updates and links and just offer some thoughts as we go along. So ladies and gentlemen, I know this is the week of Starfield, but it was a Fallout channel first and foremost, but we've naturally diversified since then. But if you're new here, you're into Bethesda anything, you're in the right place. Consider subscribing. The following video is brought to you by Fixture Gaming. Sometimes Joy-Cons just don't cut it, and that's why I'm here to tell you about Fixture Gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want a game on the go with a Pro Controller, boy do I have the attachment for you. Fixture was designed to be exceptionally ergonomic, balancing the screen weight directly over your hands, reducing screen rotation and minimizing strain on the wrist. What that means for you is quickly clipping on your Switch with your Pro Controller. You can play games like I'm doing here with Final Fantasy IV or Mega Man Battle Network on the go without any cramps. Whether it's on the couch or out at some park, you can game without getting hand cramps. Take it from me, it's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in checking out Fixture Gaming, there will be a link in the description down below. Be sure to use the code MrMatty15 for a discount at checkout. Shout out to them for sponsoring today's video. Let's begin with the official news and then we'll get into the leaks afterwards. This one comes from the Prime Video Twitter account where they've actually pinned it, and it's been pinned for quite some time, and it says Vault 33 location Los Angeles, Fallout, an original series coming to Prime Video in 2024. So actually what I learned afterwards was this image that they made here was AI generated. A lot of people were very displeased about that. I know that's not the focal point of the video, but it's still worth something, I guess, being aware that billion-dollar corporation Amazon decided to use AI to generate this photo and could not pay an artist. And as someone who has hired almost 10 artists at this point for stuff I'm working on, it's kind of sad to see, especially when the art in Fallout, the propaganda that decorates the world is so beautiful to me that I'm stunned that this is what we're doing for the first official promotional image of the actual show. But I don't want to nitpick too much. Let's get into official details. So, Los Angeles, Vault 33. We actually did see Vault 33 in the leaks. We also saw Vault 32 in another set of leaks. So what this gives us is a little bit more confirmation on the visual design, if you will, of the Fallout TV show, which I already know was something we were kind of leaning in the direction of believing anyway, just given the amount of leaks and how good some of them looked, but this lines up perfectly. It also confirms our suspicions initially when we first saw the first ever leak for the Fallout TV show, which is this show will be at least mostly set on the West Coast, is what this tells us. And of course, the main detail to take away here is 2024, that this is when the show is going to air, which likely pushes that trailer window to maybe the top of 2024, I'd say. My feeling, based off how things are going for Starfield right now and the constant news that's pouring out of it, is I feel like this is just going to be the year of Starfield as Bethesda wraps things up for 2023 and maybe information on the next expansion. And then 2024 is where you settle in with Atlantic City for Fallout 76, where you settle in for the next-gen update of Fallout 4, which we also have an update on today, a very small one, but we do have information on that. And you also lean into this trailer here, and Fallout sort of has this resurgence. I'm curious how that'll go with, as I said in a previous video, you know, Creation Engine 2, Starfield, and then going back to Fallout 4 in the Creation Engine. And it might be an adjustment for some people, but nonetheless, we know that Vault 33 is in fact real. We know it's going to be set in LA, and we already had a couple of ideas kind of percolating on where this story could go, but these latest rumors, if you're a hardcore Fallout lore nerd, may disturb you a little bit, but it does start to maybe narratively paint a picture if we're to lean into stuff we already know about the franchise and trust that Bethesda is guiding the show leads on this properly to lean into that information. I'll get into what I mean right now. Let's start off with some of these leaked images here. The first one, we can actually see Vault Tech's logo, plain as day, on the ground, which obviously confirms its involvement in the show, which was to be expected. We saw that there were Vault-Tec scientists that were to be in the Fallout TV show based off the fact that the getup was almost identical to what was in Fallout 4. We also see here a very interesting outfit as someone's holding a taped up weapon. Now, this outfit in particular is very interesting because at first glance, doesn't look like anything we've seen in the Fallout universe before, but there are little details like the 3 notches on the left shoulder that indicate that this is likely a Brotherhood of Steel scribe. Now, who is a Brotherhood of Steel scribe, in case you haven't been caught up on your Fallout lore? Scribes are, according to the Fallout wiki, tasked with creating and keeping records of the technology recovered and used by the Brotherhood and experimenting with new weapons and other useful devices to be used in the field by the Knights and Paladins. Scribes rarely leave the safety of the Brotherhood of Steel bunkers, but they are sometimes called into the field to examine a piece of technology or perform a task beyond the skills of the Brotherhood soldiers. The attitude of many scribes in the Brotherhood can be described as technocentric. While a great number study history and cultures, the majority of the scribes focus their studies on objects related to the acquisition, repair, or creation of technology. And I know that's old news for some of you Fallout vets out there, but the reason that's all important to address with Vault-Tec being in the show and this potentially being a Brotherhood of Steel scribe, if you look at the side-by-side of the outfit that's in Fallout 4, you can again see some of the similar details in the strappings that are on it, although the color scheme in the game looks a little bit more orange, but that could be the lighting in the photo. The reason this is all vital is because arguably the most important leaked image was this one right here of a van that says Hawthorne Medical Laboratories, a division of Vault-Tec Corporation. This is brand new lore being added to the show. Now, it's possible this is just a little van that's going to be parked in the back of a set, and maybe we're overthinking it. But given that we've never heard of this company before, and that we see the Vault-Tec leak, and then we see the van says Hawthorne on it, this is pretty significant. And the reason it is because, as I mentioned at the start of all of this, I can start to speculate a bit and piece together a potential setup to this narrative. So we do see in this courtyard here, where the Vault-Tec logo is on the ground, that a Brotherhood of Steel scribe is posted outside what would likely be a vault of some kind. Now, we know Vault 33 is playing a major factor in this show, given the tweet that was posted by Prime Video, and all vaults are experiments. Now, the reason this is important to note is because you think of devices that could be within a vault that could be of use to the Brotherhood of Steel. Think about like Fallout 4, where they kind of, in my opinion at least, brought the Brotherhood of Steel back to their roots, at least on a level of technological acquisition. And I think that's one of the better modern portrayals we've got of them. Whereas what we saw with Lion's Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 3 was, I'd say, leaning a little bit more in the direction of like the do-gooders, to kind of create that moral dichotomy for the evil enclave, right? But here in this show, it looks like it's possible that a Brotherhood of Steel scribe is showing up to what could be a vault to acquire some sort of technology from said vault. But it's not just the Brotherhood of Steel who would have a vested interest in whatever this potential, speculated by the way, piece of technology that's there. You also have factions like the NCR. You see, this is really important because you'll see that there is actually a vault photo that we've covered before, where a vault dweller is standing there with the NCR flag in the background. Now, according to, again, the Fallout Wiki, the New California Republic is a post-war federal republic founded in New California in 2189. What this could likely indicate to us Fallout fans is that there is a vault somewhere that the NCR saw so much value in that after it had opened, because for the NCR to be made, they had to leave the vaults, right? They went to a vault and effectively conquered it. And I guess my brain goes to, why would you do any of that unless there was something there worth protecting, right? Because the NCR, we think of how they're portrayed in something like Fallout New Vegas, and yeah, very much broad power spectrum, right? So why do they have a vested interest in a vault to go and conquer one potentially? We also know that the Enclave is in this show thanks to leaked photos. This could potentially, just given the outfit, be a pre-war section, whereas what we saw with the Brotherhood of Steel scribe may also be post-war. I do hope they do what Fallout 4 did to a bigger extreme here. One of my favorite things about Fallout 4 that I don't think they leaned into enough was the pre-war section. I kind of wouldn't have hated if it was a little bit longer, or if there were quests that brought you back to that pre-war section. Like, imagine if you went to the memory den in Fallout 4 and you were able to just relive parts of the protagonist's life. I mean, you already voiced them. Why not just give them more of a backstory at that point? It could have presented something a little bit more interesting there. But nonetheless, we know the Brotherhood's there, not only because of the scribe that we potentially see here, but also the armor. We know the Enclave's here. We know the NCR's here. Now we have this vault confirmed. And I think just given that Hawthorne's involved, we now have this new subsidiary within Vault Tech. We'll see how that change goes over when it's implemented into the show, how it's utilized, because it's potentially some type of technology medically that they had that could be useful for all of these various factions. And of course, the Brotherhood of Steel, being more territorial, wants to take it, investigate it, and keep it to themselves instead of letting the general public get their hands on it. We will see in due time, but let's talk just very briefly about that Fallout 4 Next Gen update. The last update that we did get on it that I covered here on the channel was that, yeah, it's probably coming after Starfield if a P9's tweet was anything to go by, but that doesn't mean that work is stopped. Now, I thought this may just be the case given that Starfield's closing in, time to get all the patchwork done. This is the biggest launch of a game they've had in a very long while, if not the biggest game launch, just given all of the pressure of Xbox and the delays, everything that's behind it. You probably want all hands on deck, but when you go over to SteamDB, oh, it's still being worked on up to the very hour, which I thought was kind of cool to see that they're still tinkering with things here. Now, it's still possible based off of Bethesda promise that the next gen update lands this year, but given that we now have a confirmation of Prime Video dropping the Fallout TV show in 2024, I just feel like Bethesda, if I'm them, as much as a consumer, I want it ASAP. If I'm Bethesda, I think you wait until this show is good to go, drop the next gen update, then invite some people back into the fold to enjoy some Fallout 4 and maybe time it out with the Atlantic City update for Fallout 76. Because again, I must emphasize that while I'm not the biggest fan of Fallout 76, that game has been really quiet lately. And while they've doubled down their efforts on getting support for Fallout 76, like hiring on 011, I don't think it's a sign that they're quitting, but hopefully that Atlantic City's almost a reset button because the community's kind of needed it for some time, but they're really testing the patience here. It's kind of like go big or go home here for Atlantic City. Like, I'm expecting something Wastelanders-esque personally, because we're finally leaving Appalachia, which I thought was a great setting, but again, when you look at all the stuff mounting for Fallout, I think you could argue that a good time would be, you know, the bombs dropping day, October 23rd. It's a good time to drop something new for Fallout, maybe a trailer, kind of teasing what's to come in 2024, or you wait to the top of the year, begin the marketing then. But we just know that 2024 is the year we start getting this show. We don't know when. We know the filming's been done for a while. I guess now it's down to the editing process. So I wouldn't be too terribly surprised if we got a trailer this year, but I just think Starfield's that kind of monkey wrench there. And when you combine that with the expansions, like, I feel Bethesda would be wise just to ride out Starfield. And then when they're getting into what could be a more dead year for them with how much they've done this year, you lean into the Fallout, the next gen updates, the updates for 76, the smaller things, if you will, that feel bigger because of the TV show. So that's just my read on everything, but that's everything going on with Fallout, from the TV show all the way to the Fallout 4 next gen update and a little bit on Atlantic City. I'm very curious to get your thoughts on things here, whether it be the leaks and the lore for the Fallout TV show all the way up to the next gen update for Fallout 4. Please do fire away. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the heck out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.